let's walk through some of the big changes that occurred in Windows 10 and have carried through now to Windows 11. One is the revamped setup, also called the OOBE, or out-of-box experience. That's what that stands for. This is that first setup that you go through when you start up a PC for the first time, where you set your username, the country and location for your keyboard, what language, the time zone, your networking password, all of those kinds of things. And by the way, this seems to change constantly with upgrades and updates to Windows, so don't be surprised if you see changes there from one version to another or from one installation to another. Another is some enhanced recovery tools. So Windows, or I should say Microsoft, has dramatically updated the options that you have for recovering your computer if you have a crash or a problem. The Windows Explorer is now called File Explorer. You can see that at the top of this window here, and it is now ribbon-based. So here I've clicked on the Home tab, and you can see that it now has a ribbon very much like the ribbon that you'll find in Microsoft Word and other products. You can't see it here, but there's a quick access set of menus right here that's hidden behind the ribbon right now. So a lot of changes to the way File Explorer works, as well as some of the changes. For example, if I click View, how I change the view settings has changed quite a bit. System performance has been added to the Task Manager. So the Task Manager is that thing you get to when you click Control-Alt-Delete and then you choose Task Manager. And here you see that there's a Performance tab that gives you some quick access to performance information. Windows 10 and 11 have much improved support for the GPU. The GPU is a processing unit for the graphics card, and it's much more powerful usually than the central processing unit in your computer. So why not take advantage of that and let it do some of the processing for us for some tasks that require a lot of processing. Another thing that goes along with that is the capability of prioritizing tasks. So now I can choose processes and I can set a priority or a higher priority for some processes than I do for others. No more home groups. If you've used home groups in the past so that you can make your home computers look a little bit like a domain rather than like a work group, that is no longer supported in Windows 10 or Windows 11 for that matter. Now you have domains and work groups, and that's it. Edge. The Edge browser is now Chrome based. So in other words, it looks more like Google Chrome, and so it's a cross between a Microsoft product and a Google product. Improved memory management. So many times older versions of Windows were unstable, and you get what we call the blue screen of death when you try to boot up. That has been improved quite a bit, and you have a lot more control over how memory is distributed in your system and how it's used in your system than you used to have. The license key is now embedded in the UEFI. Now, the UEFI is a replacement for what we used to call the BIOS. The BIOS was a chip that holds the hardware information about your computer, and you could reprogram it, but it's a big deal to reprogram it. Whereas the UEFI is easily changed and easily edited. And so now the license key is embedded in the UEFI, so that if I tear down all of the hard drives and software on my system and put on a new Windows 10, that license key is already installed, and I don't have to reactivate that new Windows 10. It remembers that I already have an active license, and it makes installations much cleaner and quicker.